Hello, football fans. Larry Allen here at the KGAS Studios, and as you can see, if you're watching, Scott Surratt to my left, the head football coach and athletic director at Carthage High School. The Bulldogs still on a roll, 31 straight winning streak as far as regular season games are concerned, a new school record. And the Bulldogs this week on the road to take on the Palestine Wildcats. Our portion of Pigskin Preview brought to you by Worthington's Air Conditioning and Plumbing. And last Friday night, I tell you what, for one thing, you got to see the coach in a suit. How about that? Yeah, he was not out there early as he sometimes is, but because he was getting all dressed up in a suit to accompany his daughter out on the field. She was one of the homecoming queen nominees. Bulldogs with a big lead at halftime, and they wind up winning at 40-14. It's a good night, Scott.
It was a great night. It was a fun night, a special night for our family, a lot of family members there. And also, for our players, had a lot of family members there. A lot of alumni came back to watch. And you always want to play well when, the alumni come back. And that's for sure. You want to play well from those guys that, kind of set the tone and played before them. And, but anyway, I thought we played really well. Like always, you're going to make a few mistakes in the game, but I think with our ones in the game, we were up 40-7, and and got invaluable experience for our young guys and some even older guys, the backups in case of injuries or whatever. So that's kind of what we wanted, and I thought it was a really good night.
All right, got a couple of things I want to comment on. You mentioned at Chalk Talk. Again, Chalk Talk every Monday at noon at the Fieldhouse. Colin Lister was a defensive MVP of the week, not because he had the most tackles, but because he was doubled quite a bit in that ball game, and that frees up some guys behind him to make the tackles.
Well, a lot of times those guys get overlooked because they're getting all the double teams, and if we can get those guys continue to have to double Lister, and where our linebackers can flow, and that's where he needs a three technique. Most of the times, the three techniques they get doubled more, and so I thought there's no question he had the most tackles, and he had a great game. It was Raybon, but it was a lot to do with our up front guys absorbing the defensive linemen so he could run.
You've been concerned about Kayla Williams. A lot of folks have, but he's now got those contacts. Second game with the contacts. He was the offensive MVP, 6 receptions, 134. He looked pretty good, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. We threw it to him only 6 times. He caught all 6 of them, and I think it's the same thing as last year. As a slow starter, but fast finisher, and that's what we want. Fast finish out of him, and a great finish, and and he hadn't played bad. I don't want to say that, but it just wasn't. Him, it looked like, and now he's back, and he looks great in practice, and a great young man, and we're excited about his play.
All right, I want to mention special teams MVP, Brighton Wade. That's the first time this year he's been the special team MVP.
Yeah, Brighton had 3 tackles on the kickoff and played very well for us there, and he's a sophomore and getting time there and getting some time at wide receiver, and we're very excited about his future.
Now, for those who were at the game and also those who were listening, if you were listening to the radio, you know that Coach Surratt, you were upset or concerned about one call, roughing the kicker, and you explained it to us at Chalk Talk. Tell us about that call.
Well, I actually gave them 7 points. He gave them their own 7 because right after that, I think. But anyway, you have to establish yourself as a punter when you start running. And he pulled the ball down. And used to, if he pulled it down, you could hit him as much. He couldn't reestablish as a punter. And they changed that rule several years for the safety of the punter. And you have to reestablish yourself as a punter 3 steps. Well, obviously, he did not do that. And plus, you got to have your shoulders square. You can't have your shoulders running toward the sideline. And you saw it on tape, like we did. The shoulders were toward the sideline. That's not establish yourself as a punter. A punter's never going to try to punt it straight, dead sideways out of bounds. And so that's kind of what, we were explaining it to him, and he missed a call, and he said, Coach, I apologize, we missed it. And I said, hey, everybody misses calls, so let's move on. But it was a big play at the time, because like the very next play they had a big play, and then 2 or 3 plays later they scored a touchdown. So gave them a little momentum, made it 20-7, and if we had the ball right there, I felt like we made it 27-0, and so it could have been a big play in the game. You never know.
And you've already answered one of the questions I had for you, and that is, do officials ever come to you later that night, or maybe call you the next day or on Monday and say, hey, sorry I missed one?
Yeah, they do, especially if they see it on tape. And honestly, I've never sent tape in. A lot of coaches do. They'll just cut the clips up where they miss them, and they'll send them in. And I don't think that's fair to the officials. I mean, if they miss 4 calls all night and there's 60 or 120 plays, 60 each, then that means they got 116 right to me. So we've complained, during the game or whatever, and or I have, and but after that it's over, and we still use a lot of guys that's missed some big calls, and it's just going to happen. It's going to happen in NFL, college, and every level. And but no, I've never cut anything up. But they'll get it somehow, someday, somehow, some way nowadays, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm sorry about missing this call" or whatever. And we always say, "No big deal. Everybody misses them."
Okay, now I'm sure someone listening is wanting me to ask this. Have you ever been ejected for objecting to a call?
No, sir. Never been ejected in any kind of contest since my coaching career in 30 years.
All right, very good. All right, well, let's see. Let's talk about get another update on the freshmen and JV. They won again, didn't they?
Yeah, they were both still undefeated and rolling, and played very well the other night. And scored both of them scored a lot of points. And I think the JV score was like 47-20 maybe, and then the freshman was probably about the they didn't have as many points, maybe 47-15, 48-15, something like that. So played very well.
Now, usually when grades come out, the freshman that's the class that's hardest hit. How'd we do this time on grades?
We lost a couple, but they're back. They'll be back. They'll miss tonight's ball game, and then they'll be back. Both of them got re-eligible, and hopefully learned a hard lesson. They tried to wait till the end and didn't get it done. And our guys, Coach Morgan and Coach Johnson, it's a daily grade run. It's not, okay, all right, are you passing here in the 5th or 6 weeks? No, we wouldn't do that to teachers. We do a daily grade run, and if they have a 0 or they have a 50, what happened here? Let's go try to make it up, or let's study more or whatever. And so, we've been very fortunate grade-wise because we work very hard at it. And so those two guys are back, and a lot of times, like you said, the freshmen are hit harder. They don't know how hard high school is going to be, and the teachers yet, and then so they get hit the hardest. And but hopefully those two guys learned a lesson because it was their fault. I mean, if they would have done what they're supposed to do, wasn't behind because they both fell behind, and if they would have done what they're supposed to do, then they'd been fine.
Okay, and two key words that you said right there. We've had good success with that because we work hard at it. Mike Morgan has a big responsibility, doesn't he?
He does. He's our academic coordinator, and he actually sends 2 out daily. I've already got one today, and then he'll send another daily grade check at the end of the school day. So he'll send one usually around 9:30, and then one around 3 o'clock at the end of the school day. So that way I'll have a sheet going out. We all do have a sheet going out to practice, and we talk about academics right after we get done. What's happening here, or great job here, whatever. And but because you don't want to play football so long, but your education will do a lot for you. It's done a lot for you. It's done a lot for me. So we try to encourage everybody to get their education.
And a big thank you to the teachers, because those are the ones that are corresponding with those things that Mike Morgan sends out.
No, there's no question. Our teachers do a great job. We're the best teachers. They put grades in, because if they don't put grades in, then we don't see them. And but they do a great job putting them in, and they're for us, we're for them. We'll help them out any way we can. They help us out any way we can. But the kids still got to do the work, and we know that, and we don't want it any other way. We don't want them just passing them. We want them to do their work.
All right, the district race, Carthage is 2-0. At the bottom is Chapel Hill 0-2, and there's 4 teams between Carthage and Chapel Hill, who are all 1-1. And one of those is the Palestine Wildcats. Palestine has a runner, number 22, and you pointed out at Chalk Talk that he ran over one of our top guys a couple of years ago when he was just a sophomore, and he torched Henderson for over 300 yards this year. So tell us about the Wildcats.
Well, he's a great back. I mean, when they played, first time I remember him, well, I remember when he was in junior high, but really it was Kelvonte Dixon was a tailback then, and we played him over at Palestine, and it was a track meet. He's scoring, and then Kelvonte scoring there for a while, and then we ended up winning like 60-30. But it was probably, I don't know, 35-30 at one point before we got away from him, and it was, we finally got him stopped a little bit, but it was a track meet. And then in 16, or 17 when we had the great team, and he got loose on us a time or two. And last year we brought him up a little better, and hopefully we can slow him down this year. But he's a great back. There's no question about it.
All right. What about the rest of the Wildcats?
They got a quarterback. They went to the wing T, and he does a good job throwing it. He's number 4, and then number 3 is their wide receiver, and he's very, very fast. He's also their best corner, we feel like. And their offensive line's big. They got 3 sophomores up. Got a big tight end, number 99 in there. So they got plenty of talent. Defensively, they got number 50 is as good as we've seen. Inside, good as inside player we've seen. We felt that about him last year. And then got a linebacker, maybe I think he's the best we've seen, is number 5. He was number 2 last year, so I want to call him number 2, but he's 5 this year. And they got some experienced safeties, 13 and 17. They're good players. And so they got plenty of talent. We're going to have to execute and play well. We know that. And, they've been in a lot of games could easily been 5-2. And so we got to go over and play well.
They've got a chance to make the playoffs, don't they?
I think they will. I mean, after looking at them talent-wise, I think they will. And Coach Angel's done a great job changing their schemes and things. And kids are playing hard, and so I think they got a shot.
All right. Update us on the injuries.
Injuries, Cole Whitlock will be back. Quan Brown maybe another week, possibly 2. But just running around cutting, so that's very, very positive because, we thought it was a season-ending deal, and but it's not. And same news on. I don't think the news is going to change on our young linebacker Kip. And but other than that, I think we're healthy and ready to go.
How about Hunter Hill?
Hunter Hill should be back next week. And Hunter's one we hadn't had so far this year, so I forget about him some, but He's full speed this week. We're giving him another week just to make sure he's comfortable with it. And but he should be back and ready to go next week. And
to remind everyone that may have forgotten, he was our fullback last year, wasn't he?
He was our fullback, backside tight end when we went solo. Even against the last few games, he was our backside tight end. He was a tight end his freshman year. And so he gives us a lot of things as a route runner, and got great hands, and then physical, and he does those little things. He fits very well on runs and stuff like you saw him last year, and he just kept getting better and better and better last year. And then we got the news on his knee, and we're just excited about having him back. We thought we'd never play again, so good for Hunter, and it's good for our team.
He's back next week. Okay, and Bladen Trokel is back, correct?
He was played last week. Bladen's back. So we're down to pretty much Kip down, and then Quan being back either next week or the week after.
All right, very good. So I've been out to practice once this week. Looks like the guys are they're ready to go, I believe, aren't they?
I think we're excited. I think we're getting to the point. The linemen, it's getting cooler. It's getting, it's easier on those big guys, and they're getting more excited. And, I think the quarterback's coming off his best game. And, Courtney's, our running game's going well. Courtney's played well. Hopefully we're getting hot at the right time. And, defense has played well all year, but we're still not satisfied. And that's what we told them. We're giving up too much yardage. We hadn't given up a whole lot of yardage if you look stat-wise, but we feel like we can challenge them more and they can give up less. And so obviously they got to be our strength, and got all those guys back over there, and and we continue to get better offensively, and our special teams is getting better, and hopefully, like I said, we can keep playing, getting better and better, and peak at the right time and get hot.
All right, those are the words of Coach Surratt. Hope you can join us in Palestine. It'll be a 7:30 kickoff Friday night against the Palestine Wildcats. One more home game to go, and that'll be next week when Henderson comes to town. We'll be on the air for the Palestine game about 7 o'clock with a look at the starting lineups. For our Coach Scott Surratt, I'm Larry Allen. Have a great weekend, everyone.